Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of The Edge on IAC Radio. We are your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundance TV. You know, we're syndicated. And you can find us on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Today's show is going to be all about potatoes. Potatoes are an awesome, awesome food. I grew up with beans and taters and a meat on the side, and maybe a piece of bread and a salad. That's a well-balanced meal for you right there. You know what? I think potatoes sometimes get a bad rap. And maybe it's just the way they're prepared. So I've got a couple of ideas for you. First of all, I want to show you what I'm doing right now. I'm getting ready already for planting potatoes when I plant them later this summer. So what I like to do, I find my favorite types. Now I really do like these russet potatoes. And so what I've done is I've put a few in a bag, and let me show you what happens. You put these in the bag and put them in a cool, dry place, and this is what happens. You start getting these little eyes right here. Oh, we call them eyes. I'm not sure if that's the correct terminology, but these are some eyes that you'll have on the potatoes, and all I'm going to do is just slice these, and I'll put it down into the ground, and guess what? It's going to grow more potatoes. So what you'll do, buy some really, really good ones. Best to go to the Farmers Co-op, but now if you buy some in the grocery store, that works just as well. So I'll plant these, and I'm just going to have a ton of potatoes coming out this coming winter. I'm not going to use these this time. Now I like russet. These are really good baking potatoes. And so I'll tell you a really good secret. If you like to bake your potatoes in the microwave, you know, sometimes they can get just a little bit too hard. So if you'll do this, if you'll wet the potatoes, and then you don't have to completely dry them off. You'll want to get a couple of paper towels and make sure that you've got them covered real good in the paper towels. Then you'll put those in your microwave and do like 3-minute intervals. And what I mean by that is you'll stick these in the microwave for 3 minutes, let them rest for just a few minutes, a couple minutes at least, and then you'll get a knife, and what you'll do is pierce the potato. Okay, just do that. And what that's going to do is give you some air so the potatoes are not going to be completely dried when you take them out. So then just continue doing this in 3-minute intervals until you can stick that fork in there and it releases clean. Then you got a good baking potato. But these are real good for that. Now, what we're going to do, a couple of different things today. We are going to make some potato chips. Yeah, and these are going to be really good for you. We're going to be using olive oil for that. So I want to go ahead and get started with the potatoes right away. Now you need to make sure that you have some kind of a bucket or something. I just use this. I've been using this for years. It's durable. It's going to last forever. And so I'm going to be using this as a compost, okay? Because all this stuff's going to go into my compost pile. And then it takes you about a year to get it rocking and rolling. So what I'm going to do, first of all, let me get my water. I'm going to show you a couple things you can do. And I'll get my phone out of the way. I'm going to get my iPad. I got to have all this technology when I'm talking to you, okay? I just want to make sure I do this thing the right way. Okay, let's put this over here to the side. Get my ink pen out of the way. Okay, I have my favorite knife I like to use right here. This is my favorite, and everybody has their own, but it's just an old paring knife. I didn't spend a whole lot of money for it. Now, these are the yellow Yukon potatoes, and I really see how easy they slice. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of ideas. First of all, with these, all I want to do is make sure that I take off any bad spots on the potato. Okay, and I really don't want any of the eyes in there. Now you can put the whole thing and, you know, just leave a little bit of the peel, which is something that I like to do. Now I'm going to show you something else that you can do. Let's just say you want to prepare for the night before and you're going to have potato chips, but you want the potato chips to be fresh. All you got to do, keep some water in a pan and they're not going to turn brown. So let me show you what I mean by that. Let's move just a few more things out of the way. I have a contraption right here that I have had since Brad was a baby, and he is like 43 years old now. And that's I call him my little son. And so I use this for slicing and for dicing and just for all kinds of wonderful things in the kitchen. Now this comes with a couple of contraptions. Now you can do this on anything else as well. You can find these. This came, I think it was like Salad Master. And so I promised a party with this guy. And so a bunch of my friends and neighbors came over and he sold cookware. So that's how I got this thing for free. You can't even find them anymore. But I'm going to tell you, this thing lasts and lasts and lasts. I've never had to sharpen blades or anything. Now, let's go ahead and get back to potato chips. Okay, so you can see right here, this would be a clean, just a straight cut. I've always liked to do a little crinkle right here. And that's also how I do my, I'll put this out of the way. This is also how I slice my pickles. You know, my cucumbers, when I'm making pickles. So another little thing you might want to do, this thing on the bottom of it has some little suction cups. And I'm probably, after 40 something years, probably ready to get some more of these, but I'll have to tell you, they last. And so what I like to do is just dip just a little bit of water on the bottom of these suction cups, okay? And then I put it down on the counter and it sticks. Otherwise it would be sliding all over the place, which is what I don't want it to do. Okay, I'm going to put these chives here because we'll be using those chives in just a few minutes for the potato salad. So we're going to make potato chips and then potato salad. Okay, now I've got this little contraption. I'm putting this on top right here. Now, what I want to do, I've got a bowl right here. So what I'm going to do is slice these potatoes. And let's go ahead and move this over just a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. You'll be able to at least see part of it. Okay. So let's go ahead and put this right here. And so I'm just going to slice these things. And look, I've saved time. This thing right here has saved me so much time through the years. Okay, so you can see what it looks like. It's got those really cute little crinkle look, and it slices them really thin, and that's what you want. Now you can find other little things like this as well, but this is just my favorite. It's been a time saver, and I've just used it for a long time. Now here I go. Now I've washed these potatoes off, okay? Need to do that. And here we go. I'm taking off some of these. Somebody tried to call me, so let me go ahead and time that out. And I will go ahead and cut some of the bad parts off. I call it the bad parts. I'm just taking the parts that might have a little bit of brown in it or black, which is typically, it's normal for a potato. And I'm just cutting those little things off. Okay, and let me go ahead and click right here and right here. Okay, now we're going to just do probably 3 or 4 potatoes. That's all we're going to need because I want them to be fresh. And I promise you they're going to be eaten here in this family. Okay, here we go, some more. And I like to cut the bottoms off. And see, here's a part. Now what I'm going to do, so this has got part of the bottom and it's a good part, but I'm just going to cut it a little bit more. There we go. All right, let's do, say, a couple more. Here I am. I'm going to cut off the bottom. And the reason I want to do that is so that it has that pretty part right here, because it's not so pretty if you use this end of it, see. So here I'm cutting off, I'm finding the worst part of the potato, and I'm cutting that part off. Okay, I'm seeing some more. See, right here is probably where a shovel or something headed off into it. And then I'm going to keep this bag. When I'm through with this bag, what I'm going to do is keep it, and I'm going to put it in a cool, dark place, and little eyes are going to start growing out of it. And I'll plant those. And look, I'll not have to buy potatoes for a long time. One of these days, pretty soon, we're going to have another show on how to harvest potatoes and how to keep them fresh. Okay? Oh, I'm just loving this. And I love keeping the peel on it. Now, what I like about the Yukons are perfect for potato chips because the skin is very thin on it. See, I found the ugly part of the potato, and then right here on the other end is going to be my other ugly part. And a couple more places I can take off. And then I see a part right here, probably where a shovel was on it, so I'm going to take that off. I'm ready for another potato. Okay, we're just going to do 4. And that's going to be more than enough potato chips. But what we're going to do to make them healthy, and you'll never taste the difference, and they'll be really crisp. I'm going to like that about them. And so let's go on ahead now. Now see, here's where I sliced. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I always cut that off. And I'll go into the compost pile right here. Now, one thing I could do, if let's say I've decided I don't want to do the potatoes yet, I just want to slice them. I want to get them ready for tomorrow for an event coming up. Maybe folks coming over to my house. What I can do is put these potatoes in water. Put them in the refrigerator. All I got to do is take them out of the water and drain them. They're done. Okay? And that'll just keep them from turning brown, which is, wouldn't hurt anything. It's just, that's just what I like to do. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of secrets. What I love to do is use ranch salad dressing. Okay, you get the store brand. It's just as good. You can get this, Walmart's one of our sponsors. You can get the Walmart brand. It's great value. It sells for about 50 cents. And so, that's a good value right there. And so this is just dried ranch dressing. I'm going to sprinkle some of it on potatoes. And you know what we always say is your hands are the best utensil you can have in your kitchen. Just a little bit, probably about a teaspoon or something like that. And what it's also going to do with the ranch dressing has dried chives in it. And I love that part. I'm going to save that because we'll use that in potato salad too. Okay, now what else are we going to do? We're going to add just about a tablespoon, only about a tablespoon. Let's get my, make sure I don't go over. There we go, we're doing good. And about a tablespoon of olive oil. Now you could use veggie oil if you want to. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. And another thing I'm going to do, move this out of the way. I'm going to put, I really do like this sea salt on potato chips. Okay, it's kind of, it's just a really, really good flavor. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of sea salt on here. You don't have to go overboard. Alright, so it's going to take care of the salt. Now, some more of the olive, and again, this is store brand from Walmart. And it's just as good as the national brands. It's good and fresh. Always make sure you check expiration dates on things. Now, this is another little secret. You can go beyond the expiration date on products. Just look, make sure the can, if it's canned food, that it's not dented. And you know what? The best judge of whether this works out or not is you sniffer your nose. If it has a funky smell to it, never use it. Because I've actually opened up beans that had like 2 years left on the expiration date before, and they had a smell to them. I threw them away. Okay, so again, your hands are the best utensil you can have. All I'm doing is just making sure that these potato chips are saturated. Okay, and I really do love the smell of this. This is just really cool. Without being too greasy. You just don't want a bunch of grease. And the only reason I'm using just a tiny bit of olive oil on the bottom of this is just so that it doesn't stick. I don't want it to stick. Now you can use Pam and you can use these other things. But I prefer it this way because sometimes Pam will leave this residue on your stuff. This frosting, and it's really good. I mean, I really love the stuff, but I just don't want a sticky residue to have to clean off of everything. I probably could have gotten by using 3 potatoes, and I use the small potatoes. Now another thing I like to do, I like to cook on Sundays, and we love leftovers around here. So if I cook on Sunday, what I can do is prepare potatoes and just make them just different recipes of potatoes throughout the week. Yeah, that's an easy thing to do. So you could maybe boil some potatoes and just have regular potatoes. And if you have any left over, you could make potato fritters. And what you do is just put a little bit of meal in with the mixed potatoes, some cornmeal, that's good. And maybe a little bit of flour, and make sure it's just regular all-purpose flour. And then mix a little salt and pepper, and put some cheese in it, I'm gonna tell you what, that's a good meal right there. It'll only take one per serving. So what you could do is just put about a half cup and reserve half cup of those mashed potatoes you made for Sunday. Make sure you cover the bowl and then put that in the refrigerator. Next day, oh, and put an egg in it too. An egg's really good. My girls' eggs, they love to give us eggs. Okay, this is all I've done. Just make sure you've got them layered just as much as possible. Okay, I'm going to put these in a pan that I have. Let's move this out of the way and go ahead and wipe off my hands. So what I have right here is an air fryer. And that's no, you don't have to use an air fryer. You can use a regular oven. Now if you're using a regular oven, you want to put this in a 350-degree oven. Make sure it's preheated. And after about 10 minutes, you want to get a spatula and you want to kind of maneuver it just a little bit, upside down kind of a thing, flip it, that kind of thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to step right over here and I'm putting this in my oven. Again, it's an air fryer. And I'm going to hit start. This is Emerald Lagasse. Now you can also, let me tell you something else you can do. You can go to, I'm going to put a link down here for my website for Walmart. And then you can order it through them, save a little money at the same time, and you're helping my radio station. We would definitely appreciate you helping our show as well. Okay, now what I want to do is go ahead and get some potatoes ready. Now, let me tell you a secret to potatoes. Another one, if you're going to boil them. What you need to do, let's go ahead and get this out. Let's say about, let's do about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do 6 potatoes. Because potato salad goes a long way. And then I want this to last a good 3 days. So let's go ahead and start with the potatoes. Again, I'm going to slice them just like I did before. My little paring knife, this is my favorite one. Okay, then I'm going to show you another quick way. A lot of folks say, well, I don't know about, boiling potatoes. It takes so long. It doesn't take that long at all. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the same gadget right here that I used for potato chips. And what I'm doing is I'm slicing these thin. Now also I've taken off any bad parts. I'm leaving skin in. These are the kind of potatoes you can use to leave the skin. And you know what? The skin gives the most nourishments for you as well. Okay, now I'm going to put this in here and I've got water. So I can just kind of show you what I've been talking to you about. First of all, it's not going to take near as long to boil these because I've got them about the size of a potato chip. And I'm not going to mash these either. Now this is something I like to do for potatoes. Okay, you can already see the water is turning a color. All that is starch. I don't want all the starch in my potato salad. So what I'm going to do is as I'm cutting them, I'm adding them to this water right here. I've got a little stove right here that I like to use. And as I peel the potatoes and get them ready, no, look, that didn't take long at all. Not a long time. Okay, and let's see, I'm going to get rid of some bad spots on here. What I'm actually going to do, their little eyes already coming through. I'm saving these. And I'm going to put them in a dark bag. A paper bag works great. I wish they would go back to asking if you wanted paper or plastic. And to all the folks who think that, we're all going to be disintegrating because of the I don't want to get political with you, but because of climate change, wouldn't it be smart if they wanted to set some laws? This would be a great law. Don't do plastic bags. Only have paper, because paper, you can use that in the garden when you're planting things. And again, my seeds, I'm going to put these, what I'm taking off these potatoes, I'm going to wind up putting those seeds in either the compost pile or I'm going to put them in paper. See how fast that is? It doesn't take that long. And then I'll have these ready for seedlings. Yeah, so everything, actually my family, the way we grew up, with my family, we were preppers before it was popular to be preppers. We were recycling long before it was a popular thing to do. Okay, now when you put this into your hot water, that's going to cool it down, and that's just fine. We're okay with that. Okay, let's see. Keeping up with the time because I'm going to have to go into a commercial break shortly. And I'm cutting off again any bad spots that are on here and things, parts of this potato that I can recycle and plant. Isn't that amazing? I mean, that's the original. This is the original. That's how life was supposed to be, is recycle and not throw things away. Yeah, my grandmothers, back in the Depression days, they would save lard. And there's so many things you can do with lard. They would slaughter a cow, pig, whatever, and you can make soaps. So many things you can do with lard. And you would think, lard for soap? My goodness, it's going to smell terrible. It's going to smell like meat. It didn't. Just didn't. And so what you would do, and we're going to have a show about that, how to make lye soap. My Aunt Elizabeth still does that, I think. She's like 101 years old. And so she's still at it. Okay, again, I'm cutting off some parts that I don't really like on this potato. And once I get this boiling, because I need to let this boil for a good, at least, 20 minutes or so. And it's going to be where you can stick a fork in it, and it just almost it does its thing. Okay. Again, dropping it, I'm letting this fall into water. I appreciate you hanging out in my kitchen with me today. This is like one of my favorite places. Phil always tells people, if she goes missing, there's 3 places she's going to be. It's either going to be in the kitchen, and that's her kitchen, and I won't let him in there. Like sometimes he'll say, can I help? And I'll say, yeah, leave. Go somewhere else. Work on a show. Do something else. It's because a woman has her kitchen sometimes, and she just wants it for herself. And so here we're going to put in some more potatoes, and this will start boiling in just a few minutes. And again, we're going to these cook for just about 15 minutes or so. I'd like to do at least one more. Okay, I'm cutting off again the bad parts, which are not really bad parts. These are really good parts. And also, and I wanted to mention this. I put just a little bit of hydrogen peroxide. Now, it's the stuff you get at Walmart. It's the 5% hydrogen peroxide. And pour about a gallon of water. Just a couple tablespoons is all you're going to need. And that also helps. I've already cleaned them, but this also helps in cleaning, especially if you're going to be using the peel on something. Let's go ahead and cut that part out. I don't like that part. Again, we're still leaving some skin, and that's really, really good in potato salad. And the skin, we've already talked about this before. The skin holds nutrients. You're actually getting more of your vitamins out of these. Alright, I got to do one more. It's not going to hurt. And you'll see just how far. Oh my goodness, I want to show you something. If you can see this, that's the bottom of it. It already has little eyes and stuff going out of it. You better believe I'm going to save that. We'll have us some Yukon Gold potatoes. And we can just have all kinds of potato salad. We're just going to be doing all kinds of stuff with this throughout the year. You'll never starve to death if you'll just learn how to conserve. That's all you got to do. And I like it because I'm saving money. I learned this. I'm taking a Master Gardener's class. So I learned this from Brian Bain last week. He's on the show frequently. He is with Auburn Extension Service. And so he's teaching this class along with some more awesome folks. And so we were talking about buying plants. So what we did, that's going to be just fine. So what we did, we all got a fern that he had bought from another one of our sponsors, by the way, from Lowe's. And so he buys this fern, and we cut this fern up into 8 different pieces. I'm going to show you how to do that a little bit later on with another show. Let's put this right here. See, we'll be using that just a little bit later. We're going into a break shortly. And so what he does is, or we did this, we cut off the bottom. We take it out of the little bucket that it was in, and then we cut the bottom part off. But don't throw that away. Save it, okay? Because it still has roots in it. You can root it, and you can have other ferns. So what we did is we got it, and we put it to the side, and you've got to have a good sharp knife to do this. So we cut it in half. And this is a fern, okay? Then we laid one over to the side. We cut it in half again, and then in half again, then in one in half again. We wound up with 8 ferns. And they're going to grow like crazy. As a matter of fact, they're going to grow better than if you just bought one fern and left it in that pot. It's going to last a lot longer. I've always said that. Oh my goodness, I can't make a fern live. I kill them. Now, it's just because I've been doing it the wrong way. That's the neat thing about life. You know something? You can, okay, here that thing is about to start. The neat thing about life is you're always going to be learning. And if you ever get to a stage where you think you know it all, oh my goodness, hon. And no, yeah. Okay, now, got a couple of my girls' eggs. I'm going to go on ahead and start preparing all ready for the potato salad. So I've got one done, but I wanted to show you something. When you're peeling eggs, do you ever have a problem with most of it? You're losing some of it? I'm really kind of not, because I put it in the compost pile anyway, but I really don't like to waste. So I've got a tip for you. And I thought about it. I thought, oh man, I should have done this. Should have prepared for this part so you can see what I'm talking about. So from the same chicken, same day in the refrigerator, so you can see some of that egg. I lost some of that white. If you'll do this, go on ahead and just on the top of your counter, just kind of do this while your eggshell is still in there. If you'll just kind of crack it, and then put it in water for just a few minutes. I'm going to show you something. Peels right off. Cool. So all you're doing is you're just putting a little bit of water, and it's kind of going down into the shell, which is perfectly okay. And again, I've saved some money right there. Okay, I'm not wasting as much. Okay, I believe we're going to go into a commercial break, and we are going to be right back in just a few minutes. Y'all hang in there, okay?
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors, and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
We're back from the commercial break. Thank you so much for watching The Edge on IC Radio. We are your source for news and entertainment. And isn't this entertainment? You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications. You can also find us on Abundant TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. I want to thank Mr. Pats for making that happen. Absolutely. So we have so much fun being on syndicated on television there. It's just an awesome thing. We definitely appreciate that. Okay, now we still have the potato chips are cooking. There's about 6 more minutes, total of almost 20 minutes, I think, probably in the potato chips. You have to kind of play it by ear, okay, because every oven is different. You just have to do a little bit of a check. Spatula is going to be your best friend when this happens. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about prep time for the potato salad. So we've got the potato salad going right here. One thing I really like to do, I wanted to make sure I put some pickles in there. Phil loves his pickles in there. And so I've got a couple of things I'm going to do. I like my fresh chives. Fresh chives are really, really good in potato salad. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this ready. I'll put the chives right there. I've already cleaned them. I got probably about a quart of water, and I washed them off really good, and then put them in about a quart of water, and then just about a cap full of hydrogen peroxide, and that's going to clean even further without damaging. And hydrogen peroxide is a good thing to use. I keep it in my kitchen all the time. Absolutely. Okay, now I've got a couple of girls' eggs. They're their eggs. They worked hard for this. So what I'm going to do is use my little paring knife, and I've rinsed that off. So let's go ahead and get ready for that. Okay, so here's my egg. Now this is not a sharp paring knife. I've had this paring knife for years, and so what I've done is I've cut it in half, then I turned it over and I cut it in half again. I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half again. So we're going to keep on until we have several layers of this egg. Okay, then all I'm going to do, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, I'm cutting it in smaller pieces. And you can always go back in if you don't like the way it looks and do it again. So here we go. I hear my potato chips I went in and I did a little stir on them after about 12 minutes. And then I turned them over in the pan, and they're not sticking because we've used a little bit of olive oil, which is another one of my best friends, olive oil. And so here I am. I'm getting the potatoes, my girls' eggs ready for potato salad. You know, they like to know that they've helped us out. They really do. So here I go. I'm cutting it in half again. Let's go ahead and just put this one over to the side. And here I go, cutting this one in half, this one in half, this one in half. Now this is a paring knife, and this is it's not a sharp knife. Don't use a regular knife to do this, you'll be cutting your hands. So this is just my perfect little tool that I like to use. Now I could use a cutting board, I can do whatever. I've just found that I can kind of cradle it just a little bit, and it makes a little bit of a less of a mess. Okay, so again, this is a paring knife, but it's not a sharp paring knife. Okay, I'm putting this down in there. I'm using 2 eggs. You can use as many as you want to. I don't know, for some reason wanted to use 2 eggs today. Okay, because I'm adding a lot of other stuff. Okay, and here we go. I'm chopping these little things up. And here we go. Okay, now you noticed I didn't put salt in the potatoes yet. I want to do that and just kind of use it for a taste, because it depends on how many pickles and things you're going to be putting in here. You know? So let's go ahead and my hand so I can get the egg off. Okay, now another thing I want to do, I'm using a little bit of onion. And guess what I don't do? I'm not crying this particular time when I'm cutting up the onion. And so let me tell you what you can do. Let's say you find potatoes and onions and stuff like that on sale. So you found a big old bag of onions and they're good. You found them in the grocery store. Sometimes they just mark them down. Nothing wrong with them. So what you want to do is chop them, kind of like I've done here. Put them on a cookie sheet and spread them out on the cookie sheet. Then what you'll do is put them in the freezer for just about 30 minutes. You could leave them in there an hour if you wanted to. And then what you want to do is take them and put, excuse me, and put them in a bag. Let me drink a little bit. My asthma's been acting up with me here lately. Oh my goodness, this time of the year, asthma just wants to take over. So I've laid them out on a cookie sheet, and I've coarsely done these because there are some recipes I want them coarsely done, but I want these to be minced up just a little bit more than this. So what I have is a coffee grinder, and this is what it looks like. I love it. Now I've got one of these things I use just for coffee grounds because we like coffee beans and grinding our own. That way I know what's in the coffee. No filler has been put in it. We know exactly what's in it. And then I'm using this one. It's called the chopper. I love this chopper. So I'm going to put him in here. And you know I'm not going to be crying because I'm chopping it up in this. Plus I've taken some of that crying matter out when I chopped them the first time. Okay, so I'm going to put these onions right here on my little chopper. Okay, and then I've got my top, which is right here. I'm going to stick it in there. Done for me, okay? So I'm not going to have to do a thing. I mean, this is just the gadget that I've got to have in the kitchen. I'm going to tell you what, a lot of guys talk about, well, I've got this gadget that I like, all this kind of stuff. Women do too. Yeah, we don't need to fuss with them so much because we have our little gadgets that we use. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to throw this onion right in here. And that way you're putting just a little bit in there, just enough to give it some flavor, you know. All right. So let's throw this here in the sink. I'm putting that in some water. I like to kind of wash as I go. It's not such a big deal at that point, you know. Okay, now I'm going to also, and I could chop these up in there if I wanted to, but I want to show you how I chop. Okay, here are my pickles. These were done last year. Another thing, a staple in our kitchen is pickles. We use pickles for everything. And you know, there are so many things that you can pickle. It's unreal. And I'm going to show you, because a lot of people say, I like your homemade pickles because they're crisp. I'll tell you what makes them crisp. I'm going to put just a touch of alum in it. And what I mean by a touch is per quart, I'm going to add just about a 1/4 teaspoon. And it makes these things so crunchy. I mean, they're just really good pickles. Now I'm going to put, and every recipe I make, I hardly ever go by a recipe when I'm cooking. We like a lot, and by the way, homemade dill, this is what dill looks like when it's been pickled. And I'm going to tell you, dill is one of the easiest things you can grow in your yard, and it comes back up every year. You'll think, well, it looks like I'm not going to have any this year. You'll wake up one morning, and you've got dill everywhere. Okay, and also in my dill pickles, I like to have garlic in there as well. Okay, I hear my little thing going off over there. Let's see what those potato chips are going to look like. I'll move this out of the way so that we'll have a little bit of room. And there we go. Right here. Perfect. We're going to let them cool off just a little bit. And you need to let them rest. But take a look at this potato chip. Now these are healthy potato chips. And I don't live off of lettuce and stuff. I like stuff like everybody else does. But I just like to cook it. And I just like the way the potato chips come out. And they're so much healthier. And just so good for you. All right, let's put these over here to the side. And we're going to be eating some potato chips in just a few minutes. Okay, now what I'm going to do is prepare you. We're going to go ahead and cut these pickles up. So let's go ahead and you can coarsely chop them. If you wanted to mince them, you can do that as well. So let's go ahead and get these pickles ready. And in just a few minutes, I think those potatoes are going to be ready. Okay, now when you're watching me cook, don't do like I do, okay? Because I've been cooking for a really long time. That's the neat thing about being in your 60s. You've had a lot of experience and stuff. But now I'm still learning, okay? Never be so, righteous about that you can't learn anything. But I think that's what keeps you younger. You're a student. You need to be a student of things. But anyway, what I said by don't do what I do, sometimes do what I say. Because what I'm going to do, I've got a little way that I like to test potatoes to make sure they're done. And my way of these potatoes is to stick my finger in the water. You will never do that, okay? Don't do that unless you've got tough fingers like I do. I could probably stick mine in acid and it wouldn't do anything. So, I've got these things chopped up. So here are my pickles. Got that rocking. So that's what they should look like. Something kind of like that. If you want them more coarse, you can do that. If you want them thinner or chopped up even more, use the little chopper that I used for the onions. Okay, you can do that. And that's normally what I do. I just wanted to show you how to chop. Okay, let's see. I've still got some time. I do. Okay. I've got about 3 minutes before we go into another commercial break. So let's go on ahead and get started with this. Now I told you about the chives. I got these off of my plant. I want some fresh chives in this thing. So I like to use, I have a pair of scissors that I won't let anybody else touch. These scissors are designated for my kitchen, okay? So I pull these off, and again, I've put them in water, and I've used a little bit of hydrogen peroxide. So what I'm going to do, it's easier. Now make sure that these are scissors that are only for your kitchen, okay? And you want to clean them off with maybe vinegar or something like that every time you use them. So here I am. I'm just cutting up little bitty pieces of those chives, and that's going to go in my potato salad. You can put chives on your potato chips if you want to. Sour cream, onion, that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm just cutting these off, and I'm throwing them into my little bowl here. And if you want to do fine chops, you can do that. I usually do mine pretty fine. And this is going to be, I don't know, I just grabbed a bunch of them. It's probably going to be about 3 tablespoons of chives that are going in here. That's why I'm saying my stuff never tastes the same. Because I'm always just, whatever you got. And whatever you've got handy. There's one that got away from me, so let's go ahead and cut him up too. So there we go. Okay. I'm going to put my scissors in here. They're going to be washed as well. You need to wash the scissors every single time. All right, there's one that slipped away. Oh, and by the way, if you're constantly cutting your chives, there's going to be a little brown spot on it at the very tip of the chive. Make sure you cut that off too. Wouldn't hurt you. It's just that it's prettier without it being that way. Okay, so here we go. I got some chopped up, minced up onion. It's minced. And there's probably about a tablespoon of that in there. And there are my chives. And then also there are my girls' eggs. So that's going to be good in there too. Okay. Now, I think we're probably just about ready for these potatoes. But let's go ahead and cut into a commercial break. And we're going to be right back in just a minute. So y'all hang in there, okay?
At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
We are back. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio. We're in the kitchen today, one of my favorite places. Kitchen, the greenhouse, or the studio. One of those places I'm going to be at all times. So, we have been boiling potatoes. We made some potato chips, and let me show you something about these potato chips. They've cooled off just a bit, and I'm going to show you what they look like. Isn't that an awesome potato chip? And it's good. So, it's got that crunchy taste to it. But I use the air fryer. Excuse me while I talk to you and eat at the same time. So I use the air fryer. These are good dipped in ranch dressing. Or if you can put those in. And see, they're not like greasy. And you can do like ketchup, buffalo sauce, ketchup, anything. Whatever you like for your dipping sauce. And these are super good. Good with just a sandwich. And that's probably what I feel like I'm going to have for lunch today. So this is super good potato chips. And you saw how easy that was, okay? Didn't take long at all. Okay, so the potatoes are ready. And let me show you what the potatoes need to look like. You need to be able to get your fork and just stick it in and they're just kind of falling to pieces. Because I'm not going to mash these, okay? Now, what I've got to do is drain it. So let's go over here to the kitchen. And what am I going to do with it? Oh, there it is. Love this. Found this at Shepherd's Cove Thrift Shop for $1 and it's stainless steel. I'm loving it. So all you do, throw it in here and let the water drain. That's all I've got to do. Okay. Alright, so while I'm letting that drain just a wee bit more, let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to put it in. And because I'm going to be putting this into the refrigerator, we're going to be eating on this right here probably for a couple of days. I'm going to have some folks come over to the house. If there's any left over, Phil and I are going to be eating it the rest of the week. I like glass containers. It's just my thing. Everybody's got their own deal. So I like this Pyrex. I've had this since Brad was a baby too. So it's been an oven and I've not been able to break it. I have broken dishes like a million times. A couple of things I can't break is Corelle dishes. And those are like from my grandmother's days. I gave Brad and Larissa my set of Corelle, and guess what? My grandmother had a set exactly like mine. Because after I gave it to them, I'm thinking, what was I thinking? You can't even buy that anymore. And so then we bought the farm. I found my grandmother's Corelle plates, and that's what I'm using. I can't find any better than these Corelle. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If you find them at a thrift store, you need to grab them. These are like the absolute best plates. I mean, they're lightweight. You don't have to worry about breaking them. Now, you can break them. I have known somebody tell me that they have. So be really careful. I mean, don't just throw it on the ground. And especially if you have ceramic floors or something like that, if it hits just the right way, it could probably break. That's the rule. Okay, so anyway, I like the glass. Okay, to me it's cleaner. It just feels like there's not some funky stuff going on in the plastic. Now, if you do have plastic bowls, just make sure every once in a while you use vinegar. Just the store brand vinegar works just fine, and it's white. And it won't take a whole lot of vinegar either. So, and you'll smell a little bit of vinegar, but that's okay. Now, I'm good with the plastic top. I want this to be able to keep everything fresh. If I don't have it complete, so that's what I don't like about using foil or using maybe plastic wrap or something like that. It's good the first time you put it on there, but you can't reuse it. It never holds again. So if you can go to a thrift store, Shepherd's Cove Thrift Shop will have these on lots of occasions. But I really love this. It's called Pyrex Ware. And again, that lid's been with it at least 30 years. Okay, so there we go. Let's go ahead and put this down here. Okay, now I think this is ready. Let's go ahead and put the potatoes back in to this bowl. Okay, and I'm not mashing them. I like the way they look just like this. See that? It's just enough where it's stiff and it just kind of holds up just a little bit. And I really do love the potatoes salad like this. Now this cooked for probably about 20 minutes. Yeah, so there you go. All right, let's start adding stuff. We want to put some butter in here. Okay, it's going to give it a lot of flavor. You can use milk if you want to, but the products I'm putting in here, I don't know, it makes them a little bit too runny-like. I'm going to go with about 3 tablespoons of butter. Now, there's controversy about butter or margarine. I like butter. It's just creamier. It doesn't separate when it melts. I just like butter. It's just, to me, it's just the best thing. So we're putting it right there. And get the store brand of butter. There's no point in spending all this money on butter. Okay, here I am. I'm putting this into, by the way, this was the cookware my grandmother used to use. I fell in love with it. Mine is still in storage when we moved down here. So here we go. There's butter is melting in there. Now the next thing I want to add is some sour cream. Okay, and you get the store brand just as good as the national brand. Let me get another spoon for that. Let's see. Here's one. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to put, and I'm just going to kind of play this by ear. Right now I'm putting 2 tablespoons of sour cream in here. So you can see the creaminess of it. And there's the creaminess that's coming in from the butter as well. Okay, let me keep up with what time it is because I start talking to you and I just forget that I'm on planet Earth. Okay, I'm still doing good. Okay, so I'm stirring this up. Okay, and again, I'm just using a fork. Okay, there we go. Now, what I'm going to do, and again, I'm playing this by the ear because if it's still really thick, I'm going to put another tablespoon of sour cream in it. Okay, my old trusty friend right here, this is what we used in the French fries, and this is our ranch dressing mix. And make sure if there's any, because sometimes with packaging goods, it could not be like separated really well, so I'm mashing down. Oh, it's good. But I'm just telling you, just in case it's a little bit of hardness, all you've got to do is press with your fingers on this package, okay? So this is our Walmart, one of our sponsors. So this is the store brand. It's called Great Value, and it's like 48 cents, I believe is what it is. 48 cents. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and pour just about a couple tablespoons of that in there. Now this has chives in it too. That's what ranch is all about. Now I could get this and mix it with the sour cream, and I've got a dip that I could use for the potato chips. Okay. Now let's go ahead and add our pickles. You're gonna have to come over here and help me eat all this, okay? It's a lot of food. Okay. Come over and we'll just have us a good old time eating our food. Okay, now we're going to pour the chives. Got the pickles in there, so let's go ahead and do the chives and our girl's eggs. We want them in there. Okay. I'm not going to waste any of those good old chives. Potatoes and chives are really good. You know what you can do? You can bake a potato, and then you can add some butter to it and put some chives in it. That's some good eating. That's a good supper right there. Okay. Now I'm stirring it up so you can see how pretty that potato salad is. It's just pretty. It's just a pretty tater salad. We call them tater salads in the South. I don't know what you folks up north say. And this is something that, again, potato salad is going to last several days in your refrigerator. Okay. There's something about when you make your own potato salad, it lasts longer than if you buy it out of a deli for some reason. Who knows what the deal is? Okay. I do want to add just a little bit more of the sour cream. It's a little drier than I'd like, so I'm going to put another tablespoon in there. Put my lid on it, and I always put my lids on before I forget, you know what I mean? Because I could forget. I'm subject to that. I'm keeping up with what time it is, I promise. Because I'm going to show you how pretty you can make this look in a dish. Okay, I want to make sure that I get all the sour cream and everything off. Give it another good stir. Because I need to do a little taste test. I need to make sure it's got enough of the salt in it. And I do, some things I will spend a little bit more on. I do like the sea salt. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to barely sprinkle it because I don't want too much in there. Let's do a taste test. You need to taste everything before you serve it to your guests, okay? Just make sure it's right. Now, one thing I like to do, I'll get my spoon, my testing spoon, and I'm just going to drop some onto that spoon, okay? A little bit more salt. Just a tiny bit. I'll say I probably used less than a teaspoon of salt. And again, everybody's different. So I like mine just a little bit. And again, I'm not double dipping. You know what my brother used to do? He'd come to my house and he loved peanut butter. So what he would do is he would dip a spoon in the peanut butter and dip it again. I'd say, take it home. I think he did that on purpose. So he wouldn't have to buy peanut butter. No double dipping. All right. I've dipped it in there. Let's do another taste. Perfect. Okay. So I'm tasting just a hint of onion. Just a hint. And I think I'm going to add more, a little bit more of this ranch mix in it. I just think it'll taste better. Because it's going to give us more of the chive taste and whatever little seasonings they're using in there as well. All right, and I got to do another taste test. That's why I'm not hungry. By the time I get to the table, I'm not hungry because I've been tasting the food to make sure everybody likes it. Okay, let's see what that might have done. I'm dropping it in there again. Spot on. That's what did it. Okay, let's go ahead and plate it. So I'll put it in my bowl. Got everything in it that I want. And I'm going ahead, I'm scraping this sucker clean now. I want it to be some good stuff. Got about a minute left, so it's going to give me just enough time. Alright, I think I see my husband over there. He's hoping I'll hurry up and let him eat out of the bowl here. Alright, we'll have just enough time because this is another thing I want to do. Okay, you can add a little pepper on the top of it. Now this pepper right here, I ground it up myself, okay, so I use peppercorns. So I'm going to put just a touch because not everybody likes as much pepper as I do. So I'm going to kind of sprinkle it because it's pretty. I'm going to sprinkle it right here on the top. Now, another thing I love to use is paprika. And paprika is so good for you. Make sure your lid is on there. I've done this the hard way before where the whole thing spills out on the potato salad. So let's go ahead and barely sprinkle. I'll tell you how you can sprinkle. Use your finger like that and just do this. Just go. And it'll sprinkle just a little bit out on the potato salad. Let me put it down so I can do it better. There we go. Paprika is good for you. You need to find out the qualities and Google it. You can find some good search engines. A lot of them are medically based. And this is what this does for you. Okay, I gotta go. My goodness. I hear the dog that bark. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of The Edge on IEC Radio. This is our potato salad. Keep it in the refrigerator, okay? The reason potato salad goes old sometimes is because we don't keep it in the refrigerator. Don't let it stay at room temperature. So we learned how to make potato salad and tater chips. I hope you enjoyed it. You take care. You make my day. So again, thank you so much for watching. I definitely appreciate that. The Edge on IC Radio. Find us on television 2 different ways. Channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundant TV, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. You take care.